Welcome to Gulfstream Park. It is January 3rd, 2015. Christina Basanakis, joined by Ron Nicoletti. Another day in paradise, Ron. We've got
beautiful day.
It is warm, it is sunny, a little bit humid, but we're going to take it because if you see what's happening in some other parts of the country, we really have it good.
And you know what else we got? We got a $300,000 jackpot guarantee. It starts in race 6 now. Remember that because we have an 11-race card. So the Rainbow Six is races 6 through 11, a $300,000 guarantee. And we'll have the $50,000 guarantee in the pick 5. That's the last 5 races of the afternoon, and every week, a Saturday and Sunday through the whole month of January, we will have that pick 5 guarantee, and the late pick 4 will have a $100,000 guarantee. So every Saturday and Sunday through the month of January, and $300,000 in the Rainbow Six pool. And had one horse alive for yesterday, happened to be my long shot, so I didn't know whether I should root for it or not because I wanted this big $300,000 thing. He got beat, did finish 3rd, so we got that huge guarantee today.
He ran well, and we're going to look forward to find out who your long shot is for today. Ron's been doing pretty well with those. So, Ron, we do have 11 races today, so this is we got a lot of ground to cover. We will jump into the first race on the card, which is a 20,000 claiming event, a mile and a 16th on the turf course, scratches 11 through 14, and jockey change number 4 will be ridden by Juan Leyva. My top selection, I went with number 7, Live in Joy, something we can all strive to. Yeah,
Dave Brady, Johnny Velasquez, looks like the logical one, dropping to this $20,000 level. Returned from that 2-month layoff to finish a useful 7th, but that was against $35,000 claimers at the distance. On paper, certainly looks like the one to beat. I also used the 5 Overton Square and the 6 Concert Stage. And Overton Square, the speed of the speed in the race. So if this horse goes out on the lead and no one challenges, definitely can win it.
And Bobby DeBona, he's got a good win percentage here, and he usually has a good win percentage no matter where he does from a limited sampling of horses. Looking on to the second race on today's card, it is a maiden special weight. It is 7 furlongs on the main track, and this kicks off the early pick 4. My top selection, I went with number 9, Distinta, and this is a 3-year-old daughter of Summer Bird. Second in both career starts, and the filly that she finished behind last time, Ron, Sky Gold from the Jose Garofalo barn. She looks like she's going to be a nice one. She's got some stakes quality to her, I think, and this filly being by Summer Bird, I think the added distance will probably help.
Yeah, I went with Distinta too for all the reasons that you just mentioned. 3/4 of a mile, run good, stretching out today. Then at 7, looks like it wants that added distance. I also used the number 10 in here, 50-foot woman. This is a $400,000 daughter of Giants Causeway, debuting for Nikki Zito with really a series of solid works at Palm Meadows showing. She starts at 3. She's got Lasix. She's got John Velasquez in the saddle.
And she's very well bred as well. She's a half to a grade 3 stakes winner, although that was on the turf, who did win first time out. So that's always something that I look at. And the mare is actually out of Drina, which makes her a full sister to Breeders' Cup Distaff winner Spain. So she's got a lovely pedigree, and we'll see how she's going to go. I also threw in number 7, and that's Solar Solstice. $240,000 for this daughter of Blame, and the top price filly for the stallion as a yearling was $285. So she was very close to that top price, and very nice workout, 36-1 last time. Ron, I think a very competitive race, actually.
It's a lot of fun. Those first-time starters, and we always mention this. Watch the betting action on the board and everything. A lot of times, it's a good tip to who they think is going to run really well in there. I don't know if it's a guarantee, but it's fun to watch the boards when you got a race, replete with some first-time starters.
And that's one of those that I like to see them in the paddock, and I'll let you know what it is that I see. On to the third race on the card. It is a 25,000 maiden claiming event, and it is 6 furlongs on the main track. Number 7, Mr. Romance, will be ridden by Julien Leperoux. And the blinkers off.
Off today.
Also on Mr. Romance, I went with number 7.
Mr. Romance.
Mr. Romance.
So it's very easy for you. I went with the 1, Caramello. This one moved to the Angel Rodriguez Bon Vie to claim. Responded last time out to a drop in competition. Finished 2nd at this level and distance, albeit it was 8 lengths behind the winner in that race, but the Bon is really good with new claims. This Bon, limited sampling, 3 for 6. That's 50%. And they got hot jockey Luis Saez handling that inside post. Mr. Romance, a logical choice, blinkers off from the Wesley Ward barn. And I also I see that you used the number 9, Graham.
A couple of horses, and I'm hoping that Mr. Romance going to be showing some speed early, again, for that third race on the card. We'll move ahead to the 4th on today's card, and it is the Grade 3 Old Hat. It's 6 furlongs on the main track. It's for 3-year-old fillies and the newly turned 3-year-old fillies. Ron, we do have a scratch, number 4. Little Miss Julia has been scratched, and Ron, the horse to beat, or at least it looks like on paper, is number 1, and that's a Fashion Alert. This is a 3-year-old daughter of Old Fashioned, a young stallion, in fact. She won her first 2 career starts. If you look at her second career start, Ron, in the Schuylerville, she finished ahead of a horse named Take Charge Brandy. Take Charge Brandy, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and also who looks likely to be the champion. Likely to be the champion, the 2-year-old champion, the divisional champion. But let's have a look, Ron, at that last race at the Schuylerville. I know you were also keen on seeing...
you know, you can't really see it too much with this camera shot, but you see the 2 pulling back. That's because the horse in it was number 4, you know, Fashion Alert, actually ducked in the start. Now you see her rolling through the stretch. It was a really game performance. You mentioned who she was running against, so I just thought it was good. You don't see how much actual trouble she ducked in at the start, and to run and win, and now turning back in distance, that's the key. She didn't fare very well when they stretched her out around 2 turns, so I think she's going to run really well in here today. And as you mentioned, strictly the one to beat.
She really is, and Take Charge Brandy, as you saw right there, it's finishing just behind her. She's turned out to be a top-class filly as well. But we also have to take a look at another horse, Ron, and that's a number 6, and that's Temperament Patty, 3-year-old daughter of Congrats. Ron, she also won her first 2 career starts, finishing in state-bred competition. She is a New York bred. Last time the Delta Princess really didn't show a whole lot, and that was for Dale Romans. However, we're going to have a look at what Dale Romans had to say about his filly, Temperament Patty.
Well, it's a big breeze, and it was a little bit confused because we were talking about trying her on the grass this weekend, and she works so well over this track that, you know, it's a great opportunity to try to win a Grade 3 with her, and she works so well, with just stuck with the dirt this weekend, and she's doing super. She's a really nice filly. New York bred, but she doesn't know it.
And Ron, I have to say, I really like this. This is the filly in the whole team, in the whole group here, that I'm most afraid of, because I did pick that number 1, Fashion Alert. However, there might be a pace scenario setting up. Fashion Alert, she's got speed. Our Sassy Lass, she's got speed. Concealed with a Kiss from the Eddie Please's barn, she's got speed. Right. It might set it up for a horse like a Temperament Patty.
Yeah, Temperament Patty might end up sitting that good trip. I did go with the 5, Concealed with a Kiss, and the Cotty straight in the 3rd. But, you know, you got to go back and look at all these horses. But I think they're going to have their running shoes on to beat Fashion Alert.
Yeah, she's a nice filly. On to the 5th race on today's card, and it is another maiden special weight, and it's a mile on the turf course. And we do have the wind kicking up here, as you can tell by my hair here. And scratches number 13 through 15. And my top selection, I went with number 4, Tiz Town. This is a 3-year-old colt by Tiz Now. And the mare, Birdtown, she's a very, very accomplished. She won the Kentucky Oaks. She also won the Acorn, both Grade 1 races. And she's conditioned by Ian Wilkes. Now, Ron, in fairness, Birdtown has not really produced anything thus far. She's had several foals. She really hasn't produced anything of note. However, this colt not only seemed to take a step forward when he was moved to the turf, or when he ran on the turf for the first time last time, and also with Ian Wilkes, you would expect that they're going to get better as they go along. So I said I was going to give him a shot, because I think cutting back to a mile is right.
And that was a good performance. It was on a good turf course. I went with the number 12, More Front. This is a $400,000 Son of War Front, stretching out to a mile today after making that middle move and finishing 4th. It was beaten 1.5 lengths. That was 7.5 furlongs. It was a cross down at Gulfstream Park West. Trainer Christophe Clement, really good with maidens making their second start, talking about horses that progress. He's good with first-time starters. He's even better with second-time starters, 24%. And guess what? There's my buddy again in the saddle, Luis Saez. So More Front that you also have on your ticket. We got, I have the 4 too. The other horse I wanted to ask you about real quick is the 7 Persuasive, a son of Stephen Got Even, and a full brother to a horse called Schoolyard Dreams, debuting for Ralph Nix. Is there breeding there to handle the turf?
It's very even, and Stephen Got Even even his numbers, I think, are very even in terms of his first-time starters. Turf, it doesn't particularly read turf to me, but what I do notice from something like that, if Ralph's got him going on the turf, I think he thinks he's got a shot. I threw in number 5, White Bay, colt by Speightstown from the Shug McGahee barn. He does have the breeding. He's half to Sightseeing, who was a very nice stakes winner and a couple of nice horses. So that's who I threw in that particular race. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and have a look at today's 6th race on the card that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow Six $300,000 guarantee.
Gulfstream Park is one of Florida's top entertainment destinations, mixing restaurants, clubs, a casino, and international boutique shops with world-class racing. In a lavish, sun-drenched setting with the feel of a Mediterranean village, Gulfstream is a leading year-round entertainment and tourist destination and the home of luxury residences in 2014. The Stronach family, owners of Gulfstream Park, is committed to the sport of thoroughbred racing and the grace, spirit, and generosity of the horse.
The Rainbow Six is back, and it's better than ever. Now with a 20-cent base wager, it will expand the market for the popular wager. And in addition to doubling the base wager, the percentage return to the winners on the days the jackpot isn't hit is increased to 70%, with 30% going to the carryover pool for the next program. Gulfstream Park, first post, 1240 each and every day.
Welcome back to Gulfstream Park. We're going to have a look at today's 6th race that kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow Six, a $300,000 guarantee. That's what I love to hear, Ron. And we do have and it's an allowance optional claiming race with a claiming price of $25,000, 5 furlongs on the turf course, a couple of scratches, 11 and 12. And Ron kicks off the Rainbow Six. How deep are we going to go?
We're going to have to go a little deep here, but I could looking at our selections right now, which we don't know until we get on the air, and they're pretty much the same. We both went with the 2 Golden Story on top, and I believe this one is ready to score after shipping in from Laurel to finish second, beating the length, its local debut at the distance to trainer David Jacobson, Javier Castellano, and this is a 2-time winner at the distance. What I like, 7 starts, 2 wins, and 2 seconds. I used Moonwalker in second, and the number 1 Heart Doctor in third. You did, we flipped them around a little bit.
My only concern is there seems to be so much speed in there, and then Golden Story seems to be one of those that's going to be showing speed. So you think it maybe can open it up for somebody coming from off the pace. I think Moonwalker, he looks like he might be able to come from off the pace, and even a Heart Doctor, but you know, it looks like there's a good amount of speed.
Yeah, and you know, Moonwalker, another one. He likes this local course in here. He's run very well. 11 starts, 3 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. So number 6, Moonwalker, would certainly be on my ticket. How deep? This is not one of the races where I believe you have to go too deep, right, because there's other in the card that you might have to stretch it out a little bit.
I think so. On to the 7th race on the card, and this kicks off the days of Pick 5 and the $50,000 guarantee for the Pick 5, and there's a jockey change. Number 10, Julien Leparoux, will be riding. That's Crown the Kitten. It's the Grade 3 Dania Beach. 7.5 furlongs on the turf course, and it looks like a pretty good one. I'm really excited about one particular colt in there, and that's number 6, Smoking Kitten. We saw him break his maiden impressively last time here at Gulfstream. We're going to have a look at that race, and Ron, he found himself in front, and it was clear. Mike Maker said he didn't really want him or need him to be showing speed, but that's the way the race played out, and obviously, yeah, and it shows this colt has such versatility. He's fast enough. He's talented enough. I think he's a pretty nice one.
Yeah, you're going to see if he can handle that step up into stakes competition today. I did go with the number 9, Midnight Prowler. Was turning back slightly today to the 7.5 furlong distance after her impressive 7 furlong maiden score on the Belmont turf. Then she comes back and she runs third, beating ahead, going a mile. That's in the Pulpit Stakes at Gulfstream Park West. Chad Brown, Javier Castellano in the saddle. But if Smoking Kitten runs like the last time, it's going to be tough to beat her in there. And you know what's good about what you said about what Mr. Maker said is that the horse does not have to be on the lead. It's not a one-type runner. You know, you can go on the, you know, they could probably rate that horse, so we'll see how the horse runs. The other horse I had some interest in, I see you didn't use, was the number 8, Cronin the Barbarian. This one was game and defeat, rallying to come within the nose of winning that aforementioned race I was talking about, the Pulpit Stakes. Gary Sims, Leonardo Conclaves in the saddle. And this horse is a previous stakes winner. He won the Kentucky Downs Juvenile, so this is some, you know, he has some back class, and this one might be one you might want to throw on that pick 5 ticket.
One horse that's interesting that neither of us used, that I think might prove to be a mistake later on, especially after I was looking at the sheets, I was looking at the Thoroughgraph sheets, was number 4, A Lot, from the Bill Mott barn. And I think it's a very interesting spot that they've that he chose to run this this colt, this Tappet colt. He had some trouble at the gate 2 starts back at Belmont, and he came back and he won. And he beat a pretty nice horse, I think, Battle Bred. And last time, over the yielding turf course, really didn't show his best, but I think it's really interesting that he's starting him back and he's bringing him in this spot.
Well, that's the type of horse you want to have on your exotic wages ticket, someone that might not everybody else might have in there, so it's one that I'm going to go back and look at.
On to the 8th race on today's card. It is the Spectacular Bid, and it is 6 furlongs on the main track, and it is for 3-year-olds. And we do have a scratch, number 1, Bluegrass Singer, who will be running a little bit later. And this kicks off the late pick 4, and there's a $100,000 guarantee. My top selection, this is another gelding that I'm very high on, and that's number 10, Ready for Rye. He looks, this son of City Zip, he looks like he's got a lot of speed. To be honest with you, his pedigree to me screams turf. So at some point I wouldn't even mind seeing this guy on the grass and see if he can handle that. But if you look at his debut, he finished 2nd behind a horse named Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem from the Todd Pletcher barn. He came back, he won a Grade 1 at Keeneland, he went to California, he finished 2nd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and I think, and this colt then came back and he just galloped in his last start. So I'm really excited to see him. But we know he's going to take money.
Yeah, that was on the sloppy track last time. I don't know if that made much difference. He was much the best in there. Trainer Tommy Albatrani, Javier Castellano, a tough dead son, as you mentioned, City Zip. I used the, I'm in agreement with you, by the way, both having a top. I went with the 11 in 2nd. Itsunami would try and make it 4 victories in a row after stepping up from the claiming ranks to win the $97,000 Buffalo Man across town. George Navarro, Johnny Velasquez named to ride. I like the jock ride in there. And this horse certainly knows its way to the winner's circle. And the horse, I didn't know what to do with it, and you put on your ticket too, is the 5, Tiscano. Trainer Pilo Miller ships this horse in all the way from California to run here.
It's interesting because he did win first time out here at Gulfstream, and that was back in June, last June. So he has a win over the track. Maybe they figured they would take a shot and send him over. I also used, and I see you didn't use this colt, and that's number 2, Toasting Master. He's $220,000 for a Son of Congrats, which is pretty good. That's a pretty good price as a 2-year-old now, so he worked very well. He's also well related. He's a half to our Gypsy Gold and Golden Lad. There are a couple of stakes winners. And Ron, he won his last 2 starts. He's done very little wrong for Dale Romans, and Dale Romans, he looks like he might be able to string a couple of wins here today.
Yeah, and that Toasting Master is a horse I didn't use on my ticket, but I think when you're putting your progressive ticket together, you got to think about using that horse. I mean, he's 2nd choice on the morning line, so he absolutely figures. Once again, trying to be cute in that race there, so we'll see how it works out.
Looking on to the 9th race on today's card, it is the Ginger Brew. It is 7.5 furlongs on the turf course, and it is for 3-year-old fillies. We do have a couple of scratches, number 4 and number 11 from the also eligibles. And my top selection, I went with number 7, and that's Cardinal Cove. And this filly has done nothing wrong. She's 2 for 2 thus far. She's well related. She's a half to a multiple graded stakes winner, and that's Dark Cove. Kathleen O'Connell, she just had a nice filly win here just the other day. This filly's stepping up. She is making a step up, but I think in terms of her numbers, she fits in with this group. Again, granted, that last race at Tampa, the question is, how difficult was it? How deep was that race? But I'm going to give her a shot, maybe because she hasn't done anything wrong so far, so I'm going to give her a shot.
Well, there's another one that I feel the same about, and that's the 8 Right on Kitten, who has also done nothing wrong. This is a daughter of Kitten's. Jordan will try and stay undefeated after following her debut turf victory. That was at Indiana Ground. Then she comes back and she wins a $100,000 La Senorita at Retama. It's hard to gauge what the class level was there, but this horse has done nothing wrong. So I put it on top of my ticket with the 5 Sunday Sonnet and the 2 Nicky's Brown Miss.
The one thing I will say about Mike Maker is he does this move a lot. You'll see them run at Retama. They'll run at some other Midwestern track or some, and he does well. Right. So he knows. I think he's got a very good gauge in terms of where he's spotting them. And I know that he said that he thought this filly, she does have some talent and some quality. On to the 10th race on the card. It is the Mucho Macho Man. It was formerly the Gulfstream Park Derby. It's been named after a house horse, a fan favorite here in southern Florida, winner of the Breeders' Cup Classic. And this is a mile on the main track. It is for the colts. It's for 3-year-old colts. And Ron, my top selection, I went with number 3, Bluegrass Singer. And Bluegrass Singer, such an impressive performance last time and very fast final time as well. He did get out there. He was uncontested. He was gone. But that was a really, really nice performance. Yeah,
and he was co-entered today. We told you we scratched him a little early, and he picks this spot. And it's a logical spot for him going the 1 mile distance. With that said, I went with the number 9, Makut. This one will be treated with Lasix after cruising away on a sealed, sloppy track to break his maiden as the odds-on choice. Won that race by 10.5 lengths. Kieran McLaughlin, Johnny Velasquez handling he's going to jump up against winners today, so we'll see if he can make that big jump up and get the job done. I was very impressed with this horse's performance last time out. Another horse in here, I don't know if you have it on ticket, you do not, the 7, Juan and Bina. This one had the misfortune of running into a superstar, a future superstar, or a superstar right now called Mr. Jordan when running a respectable second to him. That was in the 1 mile smooth there at Gulfstream Park West. Nobody was beating Mr. Jordan that day, so son of Indian Charlie. Edgar Prado in the saddle. Very deep field. We have to mention one of the horses I think is one of the obvious horses. We both used him, number 8, and that's Brother Bobo. Yeah. He's by Cantharos, and the top. You mentioned Mr. Jordan, also the sire. Mr. Jordan's also sired by Cantharos. This is a half to a multiple stakes winner. That's Reba Bobo. Reba Bobo. And yeah, we love him. And let's take a look at his last race. And Ron, he finished behind It's Not Me, who's going to be. He's running as well today. Okay. And this race, I think this stretch drive really highlights how much ground he made up and how he's striding out. He looks like he wants more ground. Well, and the horse that's running there at second is Bluegrass Singer, I believe. So this horse just comes flying at the end, and he just runs out of real estate, or he gets probably an inch past the wire. He's in front of the winner there. You see me actually did get in front of the winner right after the wire. Yeah. So that was a great performance. I got him on my ticket, and I know that you do too. So Reba Bobo's little brother, called Brother Bobo, named Brother Bobo. That's one of those horses that when you ever say it's not that they win or they lose, it's how they do it. And he looks like a horse that wants a little more ground. I think this is going to serve him. On to the final race. It is the 11th, is a 35,000 claiming event, a mile on the turf course. Ron? Super high 5. What did you do? Huh? I went with the number 1 in here, and that's Dobra Historia. This one is dropping into this $35,000 2-lifetime claimer after encountering early trouble and finishing 5th. That was against entry-level allowance competition, going a mile in the 16th on the turf. Billy Mott is the trainer. Johnny Velasquez, a son of Unbridled Song, and I'm going to go with that trouble call and put this one right on top of the ticket. That's Dobra Historia. You have the 11 Belly of the Whale in second. I have him, you have on top. I have him in second, and I use the 12 Charity Reigns. Yeah, it looks like a pretty competitive race. I think that's one of those races, our favorite. We'd like to look at them in the paddock and see how it's going to all shake out. But that's it for today's 11-race card. Ron, we do have the Rainbow Six, $300,000. And we also have the guarantee in the pick 5 of $50,000, the last 5 races of the afternoon. And, of course, the late pick 4 every Saturday and Sunday, along with the pick 5, those guarantees every Saturday and Sunday through the whole month of January. And that's $100,000 in the late pick 4. Folks, we have 5 stakes today, 2 graded, a great day of racing on tap. Stick around. We'll be back all afternoon.